Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome to episode 3 of my Twisted League progress. Towards the end of the last episode, I was working on a little bit of Slayer life, and I had gotten that one medium clue complete. I'd like to keep doing Slayer and keep grinding out some clues, but I'm not very far away from my 4th relic, and I'm pretty sure I'm going for the Konar's Blessing at this point, which is 10% extra damage or 30% extra damage and accuracy if you're on task. So if I'm going to be doing a lot of Slayer, I might as well grab that 4th relic first, which is why I moved on to other things. First of all, I went for 40 rune crafting, a pretty quick medium task. The Zeah library is pretty easy overall. In fact, I'd like to come back for a little bit more magic XP sooner than later. For now, I am out of here though. I've got a handful of pretty simple tasks I can complete. I can basically wrap up that 4th relic, and then I can head back to Slayer. Admittedly, I've gotten basically 0 herb lore done, but I have a pretty low supply of herbs, and I'm kind of thinking for the 5th relic, 2 relics down the road, I might go for the double XP one, which is Zerek's Wisdom. I'm still not 100% sure, but if I do, I'd rather save up those herbs for when I have double XP on them right now, so that's why I've kind of saved up whatever herbs I've had, but 20 herb lore is a quick 10 points, I guess. I'm on a roll! Hey, a medium clue! Haha! I'm gonna go do that shit, fuck it. And ruby bolt tips, haven't gotten any of those here either. Let's wait till it teleports me out, just make it easier. The exit's close to the entrance, but fuck it. Ugh, seeing as how I am very far from 79 smithing, and it's only a mountain troll that can drop this at a 1 in 128 for the Warhammer. Plus I would need the crafting levels, and what is it, a mithril boots? I don't even remember what drops that. Yeah, this seems like a dropped clue and a half, doesn't it? Yikes. Sad day. 45.3k. God damn. Up to 52, so still can't quite do the next level of seed. Oh, 84 XP from 53. So really one more level I could do the next tier of Tithe Farm. By the time I come back, I'll definitely be up to that point, I feel like. So, nice. Oh, would you look at this beauty. Of course it happened off stream, not even that far after a stream ended. I'm sub 70 thieving right now, and still working on some stone chests, and I already got my Zerek's Talisman. This is going to be so much nicer for traveling around Zeah. It really unlocks 4 different teleports, so there's still a lot of walking to do at the moment, but in general, this could save a lot of time. So I'm very happy to see one of these early. I still have a lot of thieving to do overall, so maybe I'll see another for some extra fangs, excuse me. But in general, it's a task to put one of these on, if I'm not mistaken. And there are a couple of other pretty simple tasks that require just basically thieving XP, which is part of the reason I'm only doing thieving at the moment. But now that I have a Zerek's Talisman, I'm tempted to go do other things, because this really was the main goal of doing stone chests. I didn't want to run around so much anymore. So here's my first set of Bolagano seeds. I have no idea how to say the seeds in Tithe Farm, but it's a quick medium task, I believe, for the Twisted League here, and then some pretty solid farming XP. I'll probably come do another 100 of these seeds sooner than later, because that'll unlock the medium tier, or at least get me close. It's only 59 farming now, but it should get me right next to the medium tier of the farming guild. Can't think of anything that I'm trying to say. But I would like to get more farming gains, so I might be back at the Tithe Farm in like 4 or 5 clips. Here's one sign of how old the footage is. This is me claiming my points, even though you don't have to claim points anymore. It looks like I'm only 150 points away from finishing up the 4th relic, so it should be done very soon. 80 firemaking, and that's actually a hard league task complete, even though 80 firemaking is very easy to do. 80 in any skill is a hard league task and is worth 100 points, so that's kind of nice. This is probably the last bit of firemaking I'll be doing on, maybe not overall on Twisted League, but the last bit that I have planned. I just wanted to grab 80 for the simple task, and like I've said, probably in each episode so far, I'm currently working on Wintertodt on the hardcore while I do Twisted League, so I'm really not looking forward to doing multiple Wintertodds at the same time. Plus, I'm now pretty high health, and I only have cakes for food, so doing a lot of Wintertodt just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And when my last bit of Wintertodt done, comes my last bit of Wintertodt crates. The main thing that would actually be important out of these crates would be a dragon axe at this point, but the only thing I got was one Bruma torch, which really isn't that helpful at all, unfortunately. I'll take the burnt pages and any supplies that I can get my hands on, though. I guess it could be worse. So I did end up coming back to the Zeah library to get 60 magic, actually 61 magic, and I got called a noob again. How often am I going to get called a noob on this fucking series? Anyways, that is actually enough points to get my last relic once I claim these 50. Not my last relic, my next relic, excuse me, second to last, and I am going to pick the Konar's Blessing. It's really tempting to get Treasure Seeker. I already know that I'm going to have a little trouble with some clues, and there's a lot of good gear that you can get from clues, but I don't plan on doing a ton of them. I'm just hoping to get some clues done in the long run, and maybe get a few pieces of gear out of it. I plan on doing a lot of Slayer, and just a lot of combat in general, and I can't AFK as much Slayer as I can with all these other skills. That's why I've been kind of going hard on using relics in the combat stuff. I only get so much time to do combat, I might as well boost it while I can. So this is going to make Slayer much, much faster. So in general, I am going to head back to Slayer, but that doesn't mean I'm finished with relics. I still have to get another 2,500 points to get another relic, so I'll still be trying to knock out some other tasks. Here's another 100 Bulligano fruits or whatever the hell done at Tithe Farm. This is going to get me to that medium tier of the farming guild, which actually is a pretty big deal. This unlocks a second herb patch and now a tree patch that I can actually use, and I do have some seeds I could use in a tree patch. Plus, if I get a Hespori seed, I can now fight that thing, though I'm pretty weak currently. I could use some of the seeds that the Hespori drops. There's also, I think you get some league tasks for killing the Hespori, but off the top of my head, I don't remember. I'd have to edit those in anyway. I might not be back to Tithe Farm immediately. I need another round or two before I would get 74, which is how you can plant the highest tier seeds. Plus, buying some of the rewards from Tithe Farm is another league task, so I'll be back, but I don't want to do it again soon. So here's that mid-tier section of the farming guild, which also was a league task. I'm going to go ahead and start using this herb patch as much as possible. I should probably go for some tree seeds sooner than later to help out with not only contracts, but that farming levels, so I'll get those done eventually, but for right now, I have other things to move on to. 69 fletching. Nice. This is going to be enough fletching to get my rune crossbow if I had any rune limbs. Those shouldn't be too difficult to get fighting some steel dragons, but I won't be rushing steel dragons quite yet. I don't have the range level for this. Well, I do have the range level for this, don't I? I just barely do, but I don't really have any bolts for it. I'm hoping to get broad bolts sooner than later, but I need to do more Slayer to unlock broad bolts first. I keep mentioning Slayer, but I'm not done with what I was doing in my AFK life. First of all, I did buy a rune axe. I had the money for it. I was probably using an addy axe for longer than I had to, but it's too late to worry about that. And I did manage to grab 80 woodcutting, which is another hard league task, and I don't think it unlocks anything specific, but mostly this is for AFK content. It also has been helping out with fletching life because I have a lot of maple logs to work with. I would still like to get 80 fletching so that I can make a magic shortbow. Preferably, I would just get one out of a hard clue sooner than I would get to 80 fletching, but I'm not going to just rely on luck. I'll keep doing woodcutting for my AFK stuff, and actually once I get to 80 fletching, I'll probably have unlocked broad ammunition by then, so I could get broad arrows, and I might have some pretty good range weapons. Alright. Solid 10 points for completing a troll task. Whoop-de-doo. 49 Slayer. Well, I did get up to 60 attack. I'll go to strength for a little bit. Hopefully I got to do some range, actually. Well, hopefully. I get to decide what I fight, so let's find something range won't be bad at. This is my first key. It's definitely my first key. Making sure I was recording too. What do you got for me? 52 dragon dart tips. That was one of the less useful options, I feel like. 60 hit points is a task complete. 2,800 points. 2,170 until the last relic. 60 hit points is a task complete. 2,800 points. 2,170 until the last relic. I need to do more Tithe Farm. I could use a round or two at Tithe Farm. Not gonna lie. Don't plan on doing it immediately. Don't worry. 50 range. I can now use the magic bow that I don't have. Up to this point, I have been using iron arrows. Basically, all those iron arrows came from the maze random event, so I appreciate that, but they're pretty weak. I decided to upgrade a little bit by making all of the iron and coal I had into steel, making some steel arrow tips, and just having slightly better ammunition for some of my safe spotting stuff. And now because I can do decent range damage, and I've been waiting on being able to actually fight fire giants for a while, I've had some weak fire giant kills, I decided it was time to try and safe spot them. Unfortunately, for the fire giant clips and for a few clips after it, I fucked up my recorder, and for the fire giant clip in general, I have no clip, and then the Twitch clip is silenced due to Twitch not liking the music behind it. And then for the next handful of clips after it, I have no audio for. So, we've got a bunch of voiceovering coming in hot. Most people would prefer to safe spot fire giants with magic. Unfortunately, I don't have that many runes to work with, and fortunately, getting this rune skimmy didn't take nearly as long as it should have. So, I pretty quickly got to switch from all these range gains, not that I'm never going back. I'll switch back to those steel arrows I made sooner than later, but I now have a rune skimmy as opposed to, I think it was my Addy battle axe was my best melee weapon at this point. Huge upgrade, gonna be my best weapon probably until the whip, unless I were to get lucky on like a dragon hasta from the brimstone chest, I guess, or I don't know. But the rune skimmy is gonna be huge for a while and definitely changes up the pace of some of these Slayer gains. I knew activating Smite was a league reward this whole time, but I was unaware that activating Smite was a medium league reward where I would get 50 points. Not bad. I also got 1250 total level by getting 52 prayer for Smite right there, so that's another easy 100 league points. I'll definitely take that. As I've been trying to grind out some Slayer gains, as you've seen, I'm also trying to get slightly better gear while I'm at it. Currently, my gear setup is a very champion-like setup. I'm not looking too solid other than my rune skimmies. So firstly, I'm hoping to get better ammo for my range gear, which is why I'm doing hill giants. They're a really fast task, and I can get some quick Slayer points by that broad ammunition. I've also been looking for some tasks that would be better for clues, but we can talk about that more in a minute. About to grab 68 farming, which means I can plant coconut trees. I actually have a handful of palm tree seeds, and I just call them coconut trees at first. I have a handful of palm tree seeds, but the only fruit tree patch is in the 3rd tier of the farming guild here, so you actually need 85 farming to be able to plant them, which means this is not as exciting as it could be. Fortunately, if I do unlock that tier, there's a few patches in there. We have the spirit tree, the celestial tree, and even the redwood, so I guess it's a lot of XP and a lot of contracts you can get done once you get into the hard tier, but I'm nowhere near that yet, so unfortunately these palm trees aren't really that helpful. Alright, here's my second brimstone key. The first one wasn't so great. I got some dragon arrow tips, which I didn't need, or I think it was bolt tips, or dart tips, whatever tips. This time we got some coal, which is actually going to be extremely useful. I just used all of my coal to make some steel arrow tips, and I really don't plan on doing a lot of mining to get more coal and iron for any smithing gains. So if I want smithing levels, they're likely going to have to come from Slayer drops or brimstone keys. I switched over to do some sulfur lizard tasks instead of hill giants. They're about as fast as hill giants, and they're also a lot closer to Konar. The biggest difference here is these can drop a medium clue at a 1 in 128 rate. They can also drop brimstone keys still, and they have a mystic gloves drop, which would help for mage, even though I haven't done that much magic at this point. I was told that the sulfur lizards are generally pretty packed, so I was avoiding them. They're kind of packed at the moment, but they're really not too bad, so the goal was to do a few of these tasks, hopefully grind out a couple medium clues, get some new gear, and get some of those fast Slayer points since these are so easy to kill. So I accidentally clicked on this master farmer and got 73 thieving. Another 69? Oh, alright, I'll stop making jokes about the numbers. The Way of the Warrior may not give double Slayer XP, but Slayer gains still have been pretty quick. I've been fighting a lot of weak monsters up to this point, trying to get faster Slayer points to start, and I'm already up to 60 Slayer, which is going to be another league task. Aberrant Spectres would be nice to kill, but the only Aberrant Spectres available on Zeah are the Deviant Spectres, and those are just insanely strong. I'd rather get my herbs and whatnot through other things. Up to this point, all of my Slayer goals have really been point related, I guess. I've just been trying to get Slayer points and some drops from things that I can already fight. But overall, I would like to get up to 85 Slayer sooner than later, I guess, to get a whip. Even though I'm still excited on the rune skimmy, a whip would be nice. Yes, I died while fighting the Hespori, and no, I do not want to talk about it. I haven't necessarily been diligent on my farming contracts. I make sure each time I come to the farming guild, I can get basically all of my plants that have grown into a contract. But I haven't been going to the farming guild every time that I can. So this is 50 contracts, which isn't too bad, and is only 10 league points, unfortunately. I probably will be at the point where I'm getting 50, maybe 100 points from contracts here and there at the end of the league, but by then it may not make as much of a difference, which is a bit of a bummer. But at least I'm getting some good seeds, too. I brought up the maze minigame earlier, and the fact that it gave me all my iron arrows. This is basically the sole contributor to a lot of my runes, too. Look at this! Death runes and chaos runes, right? I bought a handful of chaos runes when I thought that I was going to be using magic on fire giants, but it turns out that I wasn't going to be able to KO enough of them, so I've just been saving up chaos runes, and now I get a lot from this maze random event. So, I'll take it. I'll take it. To say that I was having bad luck at these sulfur lizards when it came to medium clues is a heavy understatement. There's 64 range, by the way. I did not get a single medium clue, probably only 4 or 5 tasks now, so like 3 times the drop rate at the moment, which is not absurd, but I did decide I would move on to Twisted Banshees. They have better herb drops. They have a hard clue scroll opportunity at the same rate as the medium clue from Sulfur Lizards, not that I'll be able to get it. And now that I'm in the catacombs, I can start getting some totem pieces too, though I did get 1 totem piece from Fire Giants already, so I'm only 2 pieces away from being able to fight Scotizo. I really wasn't super upset with the Sulfur Lizards in terms of their other supplies. I got a lot of ores and bars and whatnot, but for now I'm going to go for hard clues, I guess. I'll probably be back for some medium clues. There's gear in there that I want, but I'm hoping just to see at least a clue drop here while I'm training some Slayer, you know? The gains from safe spotting Twisted Banshees have really been pretty solid. They're pretty weak to range overall, so I kind of crank with them even though I have horrible range gear. I'm literally working with a U short bow and steel arrows. That's it in terms of range gear, but they treated me pretty well, not only in leveling gains. I did get a hard clue from them, which I will show you the loot for in a second. I was running out of steel arrows, though, which goes back to the Sulfur Lizard grind, and I think I got some coal from a Brimstone Key. I'm very happy with those gains, even though there were no medium clues, because it got me all the supplies I needed to make a bunch of steel bars. In fact, it even dropped a ton of steel bars, so I didn't even have to make that many. I was able to get myself a lot of steel arrows so I could still survive a little bit of ranging life. I'd like to be getting to broad arrows as soon as possible, but I don't even have a bow that can use broad arrows. I still got to get that magic short bow, so steel arrows are going to be a lifesaver. On to that hard clue, though. I don't really have any solid footage of me fighting the Ceradoman Wizards. I only had to fight a couple of them, and I really got to safe spot them for the most part, so they weren't very difficult overall, even though they were slow fights. And I now have my first hard casket to open. This was a live clip that got silenced, so I don't have a live reaction for you. I'm very sorry, but I got my new best in slot ranging pants with those black d'hide chaps, which was easily the biggest part about it. And then a new best in slot shield and helmet, plus some supplies. Actually, it's my best food, too, with some sharks. So overall, this was a very solid first hard clue. This is also where I'm going to be wrapping up this episode, everybody. I do hope you have enjoyed the Twisted League games so far. If you have, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. I do stream on Twitch, I have a Twitter, and I have a Discord, which all links are in the description. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.